There's nothing personal here. I have nothing personal against anybody. Anybody. But right now, okay, hey, it's funny, isn't it? Nobody in your market will say what they're truly feeling. You know what they say to you? Well, he's got to really play well this year, and yet the jury's still out on him. Well, if you're running for mayor of Philly, that's a really great answer, but I'm not running for mayor. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big Sills, Football Monday, 13 days out till rent's due. 13 days out, my friends. No more projections. No more BS. Rent's due. All the wishful thinking, rent's due. All the stuff that we've been talking about for the last 7 months, rent's due. And let me put it to you. Oh, by the way, let me start here with you. First and foremost, you want to know what respect is? How about when the NFL players are all polled and asked who the best player in the National Football League is, and they all write down a 45-year-old dude by the name of Tom Brady? That sends a great message, and that gives me a lot of hope that players in the league respect performance and resume, and you don't get anything handed to you. The word potential, we talk about that all the time on this show about the Eagle team. It's littered with potential, which means, code, you haven't done it yet. The guy who was named the best player in the sport has done it. Has done it and done it and done it and done it and done it. And every player in the league respects him. A 45-year-old guy was given the crown of being the best player in the league. That's awesome. All the players vote on this, not the hammerhead media people. All the players. There's no bias in it when you just really go, is there one player I would want on my football team right now to win me a football game? Who's that one player? Who's the one guy right now that you would have on your football team that could win you a ball game and you had to play 60 minutes? It's the GOAT. It is absolutely the GOAT. Kudos to Tom Brady, man. That's why he could take an 11-day absence, because he's built that equity up. Jalen Hurts has not built any equity up. So Brady plays in the final exhibition game of the year because he needs timing, he feels, because he's been away. The Eagles' baby, and by the way, not on Jalen, but the coaching philosophy and the front office philosophy is, I don't give a shit about exhibition football or game speed at all. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. I saw people like Josh Allen and everybody playing halves. Not the Eagle guy. It's almost like you think he's an established quarterback. Jalen Hurts is not an established NFL quarterback. He is not. He's striving to be an established NFL quarterback. See, this is where I'll tell you the truth. He's not established. They treat him like he's Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb is established. Okay? Established. Okay. Let's get into that thing we saw on Saturday. You know, I don't really give a shit about the score. I don't care. You've never heard me mention a score in an exhibition football game, ever. I don't think I've ever, or maybe I can't remember the last time that I even mentioned the score. I might mention a touchdown strike or a touchdown run or a saving tackle on a touchdown, but I never really talk about score because it's insignificant. Really, it's insignificant. But you know what's significant when you're talking exhibition football? Effort. Playing for a job. A culture. Caring. I heard Barrett Brooks talk about culture in the building in New York with a guy who didn't want to make a play to help his teammates. That's what I saw on Saturday for the Philadelphia Eagles. Poor effort, poor tackling, poor angles. Plain and simple, this has not been a very good exhibition season. Outside of a couple drives in the Jets game and in the Browns game, it's been underwhelming. I haven't seen anything except comments from media people about practices and how great the practices are. How great the team practices have been. Every time I've watched them, it's been underwhelming. I haven't seen anything that made me go, Jalen Hurts has improved this much and the defense has improved this much. The offensive line, in my opinion, is still formidable, and I have a great takeaway with those guys. But outside of that, I don't think the Eagles, do you really think the Eagles, hey, I'll ask you, do you think the Eagles have had a good postseason here? Excuse me, preseason. Do you think they've had a good preseason? Yes or no? And give me a reference. 2 drives, 1 drive. Hey, Jalen was 6 for 6. So what? They looked out of shape, unprepared, and uninspired. Some go, well, none of the starters played. So your whole roster's uninspired? So you mean to tell me the only people on the Eagle frontline roster are the starters that are inspired? The rest of the team's not? Guys are trying to make jobs here. I got my reservations on Hurts, but you seem like you got a personal agenda with the kid, crushing him. Mac Jones looked terrible, and you said not a word. Flex, a personal agenda? Here's my personal agenda on Jalen Hurts. I don't believe he is a franchise NFL quarterback. If that's an agenda, so be it. Sorry, you don't like my take. A personal agenda? No, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. Live with it. You think he is. One of us, by the end of week 17, will be right. You or me. And we're all hoping, watch this. I'm not wishing him not to be today. On August 29th, I do not believe that Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback. Sorry. Now, if he proves us wrong on week 18 and he comes out of that Giants game and you go, Sills, I told you so. You may be right. You may be right. Today, you're not. Because I'm talking to you on who he is today. You're talking about what he may be in about 25 weeks. We'll see. It's not an agenda. And by the way, as Michael Corleone says, it's not personal. It's strictly business. There's nothing personal here. I have nothing personal against anybody. Anybody. But right now, okay, hey, it's funny, isn't it? Nobody in your market will say what they're truly feeling. You know what they say to you? Well, he's got to really play well this year, and yet the jury's still out on him. Well, if you're running for mayor of Philly, that's a really great answer, but I'm not running for mayor. What I do is tell you how I feel. And some of you don't like it. See, that, I guess, is what the controversial part of our show has always been. You don't always like what I say. I truly don't care. I truly don't care. Most of the people with the dumb comments are a box of rocks to me. A box of rocks. It's all good. Because when you have to go to personal slander and saying things to me, shows your intelligence. It's okay. You do more harm to your own reputation than mine. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I don't care. Dank says, stop bringing Jalen up in the chat. No. Your football team is going to be, well, here. In Tampa, they're talking about Brady. In Green Bay, they're talking about Aaron Rodgers. In Baltimore, they're talking about Lamar Jackson and his health. With the Jets, they're talking about Zach Wilson. Will he develop? And in Chicago, the same way. So don't ever tell me what to say or talk about. Ever. And I don't care. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback yet. I got to see more than the folks are. But Flex, where did you see in the exhibition season against the shitty Jets? Gardner Minshew crushed that team last year in a regular season game. Where have you seen, outside of the hyperbole coming out of the NovaCare Center and out of training camp, where you really saw him get better? By the way, I'm going to go down here. What our expectations are finally, this is the final call. This is last call on what our expectations are going to be for the upcoming season. You may agree or you may not agree. It may upset you. It may not. I don't know. Paul says, I was wrong, Sills. You were right. They're going 2-4. Hang in there now, Paul. Hang in there. Okay? Hang in there. Okay? Trey Lance performed poorly. Trey Lance was terrible. Terrible. And you're going to cut a player who, when they had the list, there were like honorable mentions. Jimmy Garoppolo, by the players, was considered the 106th best player in the National Football League, and the Niners are going to cut him. Good luck to you. I think that's a mistake too. You might not like that take. You might not like that take. Okay? Dank, I get it. Richard, I also get it. See, people like having, just like in our country right now, they like having things given to them. You don't get shit here like that. Sandra knows that. What do you think? This is college debt relief? Is that what you think? That's not what this is. You have to earn it here. Earn it, not been given it. Go to work. September 11th, go to work, Lions. Go to work. I just don't get how they babied Hurts the entire preseason. For what? Why didn't you coach him? They did not coach him. Okay? Flex, what's your take on Mac Jones because he looked terrible? Well, I think that Bill Belichick has put him in the most difficult positions you could possibly be put in during the preseason, so that when the regular season comes, Mac Jones will be prepared for all the adversity that's coming his way. That's how you coach a kid. Same thing with the way Willis was coached by Mike Vrabel. I want to see him run. He wanted to see him throw the passes, throw the ball. That's how you coach a kid. What do you think? Everything is rainbows and butterflies? How many times have you seen a game plan been put together and all of a sudden that game plan gets ripped up at halftime because the team is doing something completely different than what you prepared for? Most of the time, the inexperienced coaching staffs, this is how you get out-coached like the Eagles were against the Buccaneers in that playoff game. It was varsity versus JV, coaching staff-wise. Todd Bowles and Leftwich and Bruce Arians versus Nick Sirianni, Jonathan Gannon, and Shane Steichen. It's a joke. Are you kidding me? It's a joke. It's like somebody having a lemonade stand on the corner and you're trying to compete against Bill Gates. when you have that kind of difference in experience of coaching. The Eagles last year, coaching staff-wise, was a lemonade stand. You're not going to beat experienced staffs like Andy Reid, not blitzing, not setting the edge, not giving effort. Let me roll it back a little bit for you here and put it all in perspective. Do the Eagles have one of the best rosters in the National Football League? Absolutely. Can this team go far? Absolutely. But they're putting their own self in jeopardy by not being prepared, in shape, and utilizing the talent they have on the team. How do you not give effort? Effort has nothing to do with ability. It's a want to. Seals, they didn't have the starters out. So like I said a couple minutes ago, so your entire roster doesn't give a shit? That's a culture thing. Your roster tells you what culture is in the building. Do you understand that? There's a reason, yes, that guys are first, second, and third team. There's a reason. The third team guys are supposed to be giving more effort than the first team guys because they're trying to make a spot. Not just farting around out there not giving a shit. It's poor attitude. And when you're in a game like football or hitting or tackling or UFC, MMA, you got to understand you're going to get punched in the face. This isn't tennis or baseball. You've got to have a desire, man. I was listening to Barrett, and I heard Barrett today on Sports Take. Man, they got to give better effort, man. You got to have game tempo. You've got to be able to go out and show who you are. I mean, poor effort. And by the way, like I said, if I had to give the exhibition season a grade for the Eagles, C. Very average. Very average. There was nothing exceptional. I didn't see anything exceptional. Jalen against the Jets? Okay. Whatever. That drive, those two drives that I saw with the Browns, that was good with the O-line. Beside of that, though, I didn't really – I mean, I thought Minshew played well. I thought the O-line played well. I thought Kaiser White has. Seals, take a volume. It's going to be okay. This is Hurts evaluation season. Dude, you know what? I don't want it just to be about Jalen Hurts. Because if it's just about Jalen Hurts, the season will be lost by midway. This has got to be a team effort to help carry that guy. And that guy helped carry the team. Okay? That's right, Steve. It's about taking another dude's will, man. E. Kuhn says, poor effort reflects culture. It totally does. The New York Giants have an awful culture. Do you know the biggest job that Brian Daboll has, the new head coach of the Giants? He's got to clean all that riffraff out of there. He's got to get all that BS and them dudes with no attitudes out of there. He's got to get them off and get them out of there, man. It's terrible, man. Okay? Okay? It's a terrible effort. Slasher says, my main problem with the offseason last season was the consistent screen passes. Hey, Slasher, same stuff, man. 2-5 start, 2-4. I'm more convinced of a 2-4 start than ever before. And then they'll revert back to running the ball, and everything will be okay again. And they'll be able to run through that second half of the weak-ass schedule, and they'll go 9-4. Yeah, that's how they're going to do this. Same way they did it last year. Slow start. You have a slow start against that Lions team? I watched them. There's not a lot of talent up there, but you know what there is? A lot of will. And I'm not saying will beats talent. I'm not saying that. But you know what Will does? It keeps it close. It keeps it close. And if bad coaching staff, by the way, I think Dan Campbell, who would I rather have? Dan Campbell, Nick Sirianni? Personally, I'd rather play for Dan Campbell. But that's just me. I like that mentality. I like that. Hard work. He reminds me of Doug Peterson. Dan Campbell reminds me of Doug Peterson. He does, man. Trying to change a culture in the building, trying to set a tone, trying to set an attitude. Dan Campbell reminds me of Doug Peterson. Okay? McMullen saying 8-0. I can't wait to see this. Okay? Taco says Dan Campbell is a cheerleader. Okay? I think sometimes coaches have to be. Okay? Sanders disputing that. McMullen 8-0. Everybody's got a right to their opinion. Live with it. That's where we disconnect. I'm not sure what that means. I like what the Lions are doing. Okay, here, let me go here now. And what I'm going to do today, because we've had conversations about this in the past, this is the last time we're going to be able to throw out what our expectations are of this football team. By the way, our dear friend Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30 Eastern from Fox 29. We got a schedule already lined up. My legendary friend who played 20 years in the National Football League and is part of the broadcast team for the Lions, Lomas Brown, will be with us. That'll be on Tuesday. He will step in. And then NFL Scout, I want to get Chris Landry's thoughts on the Eagle roster. And after the cuts on Tuesday, I'm going to have Chris Landry from Landry Football on. That'll be on Wednesday. And that's the first 3 days of this week. So we appreciate everybody stepping in with us here. Please hit the like button. The Lions are not good. I repeat, not good. Dan Campbell is great. I agree, Slasher. I said they're getting better. Okay? I think they're getting better. And I think that offensive line gives them an opportunity to be better this year. According to Pro Football Focus, that's the third best O-line in National Football League with Penei Sewell and them dudes. So I like what they're doing. All right. Expectations is a hard thing to try to quantify when it comes to wins and losses. It's hard because other teams and injuries and the war of attrition and such. By the way, the depth level of the football team is not as good as people think it is. Not from what I've seen. Hey, now watch this. That may change. But my first impressions, I think the frontline guys are really good. And I think the overhyped second and third team guys, I think it's been a little bit too much media hype. Because I haven't seen that on the field yet. And I haven't seen it anywhere where I've been impressed with the seconds and thirds on the Eagles yet. I haven't seen the depth. Shit, the kid from San Francisco's being cut. I mean, your safety position. By the way, I've got all the we're going to go over the depth chart too and how I look at every single position. We're going to look at that as well. Okay? Nick says, dude, it's all talk. So are your Eagle media guys. Guys are all talk. Your paper champions. All talk, dude. Today on August 29th, you're all talk. Facts. You can't give me one thing today that makes me say you'll beat an elite team. Not one thing. Not one. There's not one thing that you've done in the last year that makes me go, you can beat Tampa Bay and the Bucs, the Rams, the Packers. Hell, maybe not even the Niners, even though I don't like the quarterback decision they're making. We'll find out in week 2 if you can beat the Vikings. Okay? My expectations, I'm not wavering off it. I'm going to stick to my guns on it. This football team makes it to the NFC Championship game. In spite of them not having an elite quarterback. I think there's enough on the offensive side to take control of the football team. And I will say this about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, for you to be an elite team in the league, has to make plays finally against elite teams. He's never made plays against elite teams. He's never. He has to this year. Like when Lamar Jackson a year ago made plays against Patrick Mahomes, that's elite. That's elite, okay? That, to me, again, is how you're going to be gauged. Is it 4,200 yards and 30 touchdowns? I don't know. That's really not relevant. He's got to beat the Vikings, Washington, the Cards, the Cowboys, the Packers, the Colts, the Titans. Think that's going to be a walk? We'll see. After what I saw that defense do this exhibition season, Derrick Henry's coming for you. You better put some rocks in your pocket. You better pass some rocks in your pocket. Because that dude finished 9th in rushing with 10 touchdowns in only 8 games. He going to be ready. And, of course, you got to beat the Cowboys. Got to beat the Cowboys. Got to beat Dallas. Shit, that line has gone on since Dick Vermeil was the head coach. Got to beat Dallas. And they've made you look like a JV team every time that they've stepped on the field with Dak Prescott as a starting quarterback. Okay? That, to me, again, is how he's going to – you've got to have a winning record versus those teams. Okay? You know what's funny? Razor, when you say something like that Derrick Henry hasn't done anything in the playoffs since 2019. I'm talking about week 13, dude. Darius Slay better have his Wheaties that day. Or he'll make you look like Norman, and he'll make you look like some of them other defensive backs. Nobody is going to be spared when that guy gets on the field. He'll make you look awful. So far in the NFL, that's Nick Saban's greatest football player. That dude that was taken in the 2nd round is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a bona fide Hall of Fame player. That's Hall of Fame talent. That ain't going to be no cake ride. Plus, you got a coach that's 10 times the coach Sirianni is. And Mike Vrabel, the reigning NFL Coach of the Year. I mean, that's a great organization. John Robertson is a great general manager, and that's why that football team has won. It's because of that dynamic duo they have. Their coach and their GM are one of the better guys in the league. Jesse says, Sills, what's your prediction on the season? I think they go 11-6. I think they win the East, and I think they get to the NFC title game. Because I don't think here's why. It's not that I think that you're better than the Rams today or the Bucks or the Packers. I don't think they're as deep as you guys are. And I know I've been critical of the effort that these guys gave on the 2nd and 3rd team. I still think you have a better roster than the Packers. The Rams, overall, 53. You could make the argument that the Eagles are the deepest roster in the NFC and the Bills are the deepest roster in the AFC. Okay? Edge goes, Chicago goes 1-16. I don't know how Justin Fields has a chance to succeed there. Okay? I don't know how he succeeds there. It's just a never-ending pit of dead quarterbacks that go there. Okay? As a third stringer, no coach would love to push me to go hard and to make the team. That's one on players. You can be coached hard, but some dudes just don't have it. So you have a whole roster. Out of the 90 guys you have on your team, Flex, you only have 22 of the 90 guys, and you brought bums in. Then you brought bums in. That's on an organization. You're right. If I have to wind you up and I have to aim you in a direction to be successful, I got the wrong guy in the building. I didn't evaluate you. Jalen Reagor's the greatest example of that. Doesn't go after footballs that are out of his reach. Doesn't die for anything. Shitty on special teams. His will is terrible. He doesn't have a will to be great. He thinks everything should come to him, including perfect passes. And if the quarterback doesn't make a perfect pass, well, guess what? It's the NFL. Not everything's perfect. Barely anything's perfect. That guy who's been coddled, man. From his time at TCU to where he is now, that guy deserves to be cut. And not because of any agenda here. He just doesn't have a will to be great. That's part of a shitty culture. I don't want a guy like that doesn't want to earn his spot and thinks he earns a spot because he's a first rounder. That's not a way to make a team. That's not a way to have an attitude in your building either. Who the hell wants that? Well, I'm here because I'm a first rounder. Well, you're not here because of ability, that's for sure. And you're not surely here because of production. So why are you here again? Oh, Howie likes me. Yeah, that's a way to keep a guy. How do you keep a guy for that? Well, because the GM likes me? Jesus, criminy. It's almost like nepotism. Give me a break, man. Howie's fault, coach's fault. It's all of them. Coach's environment. Dude, you know what you should do to Jalen Reagor? If I were the head coach and I had my own autonomy, do you know what I would do? Any guy who played the way they did or gave me the effort they did against the Dolphins, I would have yanked him right out of the game and said this: you ain't making my football team. I would rather keep a dude on my team if the talent was close that at least gave a shit. And I don't care what round you're in. That's how you build winning cultures. That's why New England was the way they were. You had the will of a lion and Brady, and then you know what else you had? It resonated down to the rest of the roster, like Edelman, Amendola, Welker, all those dudes who were nobodies in college. It resonated down. How do you think Brady motivated those guys? Doesn't it shock you that everyone looks at N'Keal Harry with Belichick and goes, well, he missed on a wideout. Well, he didn't miss on Edelman, Amendola, and Welker. They were late round draft choices, free agents, and nobody wanted some of them. But he took the will kid. I want to hit on Gannon's defense next. By the way, we're going to go over the roster. Gary Cobb, don't forget, also at 4:30 Eastern time in hour number 2. I'll get to some of your takes. We'll get over to your thoughts here in a second here. But don't forget about my friend Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. Guys, if you've been hurt or injured on the job, one of the most important things that you could possibly do is get an attorney that will represent you and your family to the best of their ability. Fair compensation. That's what Morgan & Morgan is all about. They have collected over $13.5 billion in compensation for their clients, and they're the biggest law firm in the country. For the people is not a slogan. It is who they are. Do me a favor. Call them, 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. 800-512-1600. And when you call them, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.